You and I have been lied to our entire lives. Everything we learned about in history class was at some point modified, fabricated, or manipulated in some way, shape, or form. When you make an effort to actually find the truth, find out what really happened, kind of plug in some holes, get some questions answered, it always leads you back to Christ. What you find will always confirm the Bible. It always goes back to the story of creation, and that's why the enemy has worked so hard and is working so hard to deceive us and always manipulate us. Today we're going to talk about Sodom and Gomorrah. We're going to go into the actual evidence that we have that this event did indeed happen, and it wasn't just a story from some book. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah originates in the book of Genesis. Now, it's during the time of Abraham and his nephew Lot, and these two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, were so evil and so inundated with wickedness that the Lord was just done with them. He decided to rain down sulfur balls from heaven. This is the location of Sodom and Gomorrah. Over here is a more zoomed in picture. You'll see it's kind of right next to the Dead Sea. Here's the Mediterranean. Now, what archaeologists find when they go to this area is absolutely incredible. So underneath the top layers of soil, they find an ashy layer that covers the entire area. Under this ashy layer, they also find fragments of human bone, burnt fragments of human bone, and burnt pottery. What's even cooler is there's a cemetery in this area that holds about 500,000 people. And when archaeologists, when they go and they dig down, they find the same ashy layer that covers all of the graves. Not only that, the bones in the graves are warped from the heat. Now, this finding of the warped bones in the graves and the ashy layer that covers not only the surrounding area but the entire cemetery is confirmation to archaeologists that this was a natural occurring event. If this event was, let's say, from an invading army, they wouldn't have taken the time to go and burn an entire cemetery. There would be no threat, plus they would be just wasting resources. Now, the coolest part, the actual sulfur balls. These balls are almost pure sulfur. They burn instantly, and they are found all over this area, even down into the Dead Sea. He does light a couple to prove that they are flammable, and when he does, he says the smell is just so strong because these balls are almost 100% pure sulfur. They also have a museum near the archaeological site where you can visit, and they have some samples of the sulfur that rained down from heaven. And the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah, toward all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace.